you guys, this is Dee Edwards. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. A lot of times we talk about how other people have offended us, but is there a possibility that you have offended others as well? Well, I wanted to walk with you through this Bible study and planning that I am doing, and I want you to take this journey with me because oftentimes we're so busy looking on the outside and what other people are doing that we never take an opportunity to look on the inside as to how our action, our response, and our attitudes towards other people could also be offending other people, and you may not even know it. Like, for instance, I'm just that type of person that I have a strong personality. If I believe something, I'm going to stand by it no matter what. You're going to have to prove to me that I'm wrong. And sometimes, when I get into my mode of business, I don't have a lot of time to be joking or playing around, so someone can be easily offended by that. So I just want to take a minute to visit that. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hello, you guys. Thanks so much for sharing this out. So let's get started with our study on today. And if you can't stay the entire time, that's fine. You can come back and catch the replay. Let it play while you're getting dressed, okay? So let's talk about this. One of the first steps to being unoffendable is realizing that we ourselves have a large capacity to do a lot of offending. It is an unrated defensive mechanism. Hey, Brenda. Hey, Latoya. Thanks so much for Latanya. Thanks so much for tuning in. Most of us seldom criticize others out loud, but privately merely diminishing someone else's success makes us feel better about our own shortcomings. Yes. So what I realized from...
Can I get notebooks?
Yes.
Because we're playing school at night.
Okay, I'm doing live.
Can we get snacks?
No. Thank you. So what I've realized from reading this is that, like, let's say if you guys are on social media and you are scrolling through someone's picture or you see their post, instead of looking for something good or instead of just complimenting them, what we do is we look at the background, we look at their shoes, their whole outfit can be together, but we look at their shoes. We just find a reason to criticize other people. Now, we may not be bold enough to say it out loud, but this is the things that we do within the back of our mind. As a matter of fact, I've had people to come into my life who look for bad things in me, and there are times where you may be the one that's looking for the bad in other people, but you have to realize is that you have to show up and present yourself the way that you want other people to treat you. So if you are privately criticizing people in your private time or even in your mind, it's still wrong, because the Bible said that God's eyes are in every place and is beholding the good and the evil. So we just need to make sure that we are not putting off on other people our own shortcomings, because when we don't feel safe within ourselves, when we really don't feel good about ourselves, now I may show up looking good, but when we don't feel good about ourselves, we have a hard time receiving the goodness in other people. When you have been offended, when you've been damaged, when you've been hurt, a lot of times we have a hard time with receiving other people. So I just want you guys to just take a look from the inside and realize if there's something broken in you that causes you to always criticize other people, then we have to take a step back oftentimes from life and work on us. So let's keep going. It's as though another person's things, career, or relationship is in direct competition with our things, our career, and our relationships. So, like, for instance, I had made a post, this was a few years ago, I made a post on social media about, my husband, and I was just always talking about how great and how amazing he is and how happy I was in my marriage. And I was surprised that I received an inbox from someone, and they told me that I could not be as happy as I was presenting on social media. And even, let's say, even if I wasn't as happy, what would give them the galls or the balls to, inbox me and to say that? That's because they're unhappy in their own relationship, and because they are unhappy in their own relationship, they tend to feel that when they see the love of someone else, that means that may mean to them that they're not as happy in their relationship. So at that time, yes, I was happy in my relationship. Now, overall, I'm happy in my marriage, but does it mean just because I put up a picture of us being happy that I feel like this all the time? Absolutely not. But when we take the good that someone else is doing and we try to criticize it and we try to find fault in that, we just have to realize that it's not the other person. It's something within us that needs to be addressed, and it's something within us that needs to be healed. It said, but as long as we see our friends and their lives as secret competition, we will always offend other people because we find it so stinking hard to just be happy for them. And there's a particular word that that was written in here. It says that when we live our lives in secret competition, it's funny that, you know, when people come into your life, or you come into other people's life, you may not even realize that other people may be secretly competing against you. Isn't that something? If you find that you have to compete against the people that's in your life, especially your friends, or, you know, someone who has helped you along the way, it's not them that's the issue, it's you. And it's going to be hard for you to really obtain the level of success that God truly has for you because you are secretly competing with someone else. That means that your motives aren't right. That means that your heart is not in a good place, and you cannot bear good fruit when the tree itself cannot manifest good branches. Okay. So we just have to just remember that. It's amazing that people can spend an hour on social media and internally criticize what everyone else is posting. Isn't this something that we spend hours on social media and we are constantly criticizing what everybody else is doing? When we scroll past a post or when we scroll past a picture, we're constantly just criticizing people. Sometimes we don't even realize how negative we are in our conversation. We don't realize how negative our perception can be. And just because we're not happy about certain things doesn't mean that everybody else around us may not be happy. So we have to really stop pointing out the log in other people's eyes, and we have to realize that there's a log in our eye that we need to pull out as well. So remember this, that you reap what you sow. Life is not about what you receive. Life is all about what you give. So we already know that the Bible said that it's better to give than to receive. But if you are secretly sowing bad seeds towards other people, or regarding your peers, your church member, those who are in business, but just people in general, you do know that you reap them. Just because you don't sow the seed in their face doesn't mean that you're not going to reap what you have sowed. Just because I don't know what you may have said about me, just because I don't know what you have said about somebody else, doesn't mean that the harvest is not going to come back on me. So you have to always just remember that we reap what we sow, and life give us back what we give it. Not, y'all got that right. Life give us back what we give it. Vicky says she remembered that. Ebony said, I do have a hard time letting people in. Yeah, thank you. When you have a hard time letting people in, you could possibly be missing out on the blessing that God truly have in store for you. Because what I've had to realize through my own life is that although I've been hurt in relationships, that everybody is not like that. Just because, you know, one thing happened in a relationship, I can't go around and hurt other people or keep other people out of my life because of what have happened in my previous relationships. But one of the things that I have realized is that it is important for me to get healed from one relationship before I try to build another relationship. What I find a lot of times is that people are broken, and so what they do is seek out relationships to help heal that broken area in their life. But that's not the best route to take. You have to take some time for your own internal healing so that you can realize the good that God has placed inside of people, or even those good relationships. Okay. All right. Because, you know, I believe that your next level is always tied to someone else. Y'all do know that the next level that God has for you, it is tied to someone else. It is locked up inside of someone else. But if you're so busy with guarding your heart and not allowing the right people in to assist you with that next level, then it's going to be hard for you to get there. Vicky said you can't become bitter. Yes, that exactly. You cannot become bitter as you're just building relationships and you're trying to move forth and be who God has created you to be. What I've realized is that it's impossible for me to go through life without hurting other people, and it's impossible for me to go through life without being hurt by other people. But if I hurt someone, you best believe that it's going to be, it's not going to be intentional. It's going to be almost by mistake. Like, it's almost going to be like, I didn't know that I hurt you, or that was a sore area in your life. But if you are intentionally hurting people, And you know what? I don't even want to say intentional because, you know, oftentimes people don't realize that they're hurting other people, or sometimes people don't know that they are so hurt that they're causing hurt to other people. But if it's something that's routinely, if it's constantly showing up in your life, you need to take a step back and deal with whatever it is that's going on in your life that's causing you to repeat this cycle. So like for me, I want to be real transparent. Rakita said it sure is, because everyone has a person appointed to them that will bring out something that others could not. Absolutely. There's always going to be people in your life that's going to bring out something that someone else could not bring out in you. And when that other person brings something out in you, don't discredit what the other person has done. This is what I don't like to see, especially with people who look like me, is that we're so busy with discrediting the people in our past, what they have done in our life. We do that to position ourselves. You do know that stuff come back on you. Just because you decide to move forward in life, you don't have to damage people who have helped you. I don't care even if the relationship have ended in a wrong way, even if the relationship has ended badly, it doesn't mean that you need to criticize or to hurt the people who have helped you along the way, because maybe you would not be the person that you are today if it was not for the relationships in the past. And just because the relationship isn't working out currently, it doesn't mean that what they've done in the past is insignificant. It's just as important yesterday as it is today. And we have to remember that. We have to learn to keep our mouths off people, even if the relationship is no longer healthy for us. Because what I do realize is that a lot of times that we cross boundaries in our relationship. So you could have possibly had an assignment in someone's life and you made them a friend. And that's what I've done. And when the assignment was up, instead of ending the relationship, God had to come in and break the relationship. And here's what happens. When God has to break the relationship, someone ends up hurt. Okay, someone ends up hurt, but it's not a hurt like God just wanted you to just, have a mental breakdown. It had to happen because this was the only way that the assignment was going to be going to be ended, because God needed to free you up in order to help somebody else. But because you were so comfortable in this relationship, you just wanted to hold on to it. Okay, so we just have to realize that in life is that when relationships break up, it doesn't mean that it was insignificant. It doesn't mean that this person was not supposed to be in my life. It just means that now that person may have gotten to a level, or maybe that the assignment is up, it's time for me to move forward and to complete an assignment in someone else's life. Okay. All right. So let's see. It also said genuine celebration of another person's success disarms the trap of comparison. So I need to say this aloud, and I need to say this again. It said genuine celebration of another person's success disarms the trap of comparison. You guys have to make it a habit to celebrate other people. I mean, if you have been judgmental in the past, if you've had issues with comparing your life with somebody else's life, if you have had an issue with celebrating the success of other people, if you've had an issue with just looking for the negative in people, in order to disarm that, you have to learn to celebrate people publicly. And what do I mean? Oftentimes we can see that someone's doing a great job, or they have overcome a lot of trials and tribulations, and we can celebrate that within ourselves. But in order to disarm it, you have to publicly celebrate it. That means that you may have to go to that person and say, you know what, I just want to say you're doing such an amazing job, and I just want to celebrate your growth. I want to celebrate everything that is happening in your life. So that's how you disarm the enemy with comparison, is by learning to celebrate publicly what other people are doing. I've had to make it like for me, I wasn't really a people person. I grew up very mean. I was very stubborn. I was the person that they would call Lil Mike Tyson, because, while you talking, I've been punched you in your face. And I was the one that was fighting for everybody else. And I didn't care about going to jail. Like, send me to jail because I'm going to get you. I was that type of person. I was that person that I hit you in Walmart parking lot and dare you to get up and say anything else to me. Like, I was that type of person. So, So God have had to soften my heart along the way. And I was just sharing this with my best friend. We had Bible study today, is that, I used to be really, really mean. I used to be really mean. I used to be a fighter. I did not give respect to anybody. I just felt like, I don't care what age you are, that you had to earn respect in my life. You didn't automatically give it. And so now, and so in order for God to change my heart from that stony person that I was, God had to show me along the way is that I had to learn to celebrate other people, and I had to learn to give recognition. I had to learn to be supportive of other people. Like God had to do an internal work in me, and I had to make myself available and vulnerable to that work. So when you know that if you are dealing with character flaws in your life, because we all have them, none of us, we're perfect, but when we get to a place where we recognize them and we're ready for God to deal with those areas, we have to be willing to be vulnerable to God, and then also use what he's giving you, like the tools, in order to become better. Y'all got it? So, in order to become better, you have to realize that there's a weakness, or there's something wrong, or there's an issue. There's an unsettled matter in your heart that's keeping you from being the best person that God has created you guys to be. Okay? All right. So let's see what some of you guys had to say. Hey, you guys. So this is day 1. I am doing a devotion called Unoffendable. So I told God this. I don't want to go around in life just being offended by the actions of other people. I don't want to just go around in life and just being upset because, someone may be treating me differently than the way that I've treated them. So I was like, okay, God, so what can I do to work on that? And so he took me through this study, and I just felt led to, just go through this study with you guys as well. So the scripture reference comes from Galatians 6, and it says, don't be misled. You cannot mock the justice of God. You will always harvest what you plant. It said you will always harvest what you plant. So if you're secretly having competition with other people, if you're sowing seeds of discord, if you are regularly talking about other people, if you're gossiping, you're going to reap that. That is going to be your harvest. Like, things are not going to come together in your life. So you got to be very mindful of your conversation, especially when you are displeased with someone. When you're displeased with someone, you can't just go around and just talking and putting your mouth on people, ruining their reputation and their character. You got to ask God to send trusted people in your life that you can share your heart with, and you know that they're going to lead you to a place of healing versus taking what you say about someone to the streets or take it to another person. You got to just be very mindful, because the enemy want to use your words when you are upset with someone else to ruin another sister or another brother's reputation. So just be mindful as to what you say about other people, because you could be unknowingly ruining the reputation of someone's character just because you feel a certain way about that person. And believe me, according to the Bible and what we just read in Galatians, is that we reap exactly what we sow. So those who live only to satisfy their own sinful nature will harvest decay and death from that sinful nature. But those who live to please the Spirit will harvest everlasting life from the Spirit. So don't let us get tired of doing what is good. You guys, we have to do good. And you cannot get tired of doing good. You cannot get tired of doing good. I've gotten tired of doing good. Thank you guys for sharing this out. I've got tired of doing good. I told God, I said, listen, I'm not finna do good. I don't want nobody else to come in my life. I don't want nobody else to talk to me. I want nothing else to happen. Like, I'm tired. Like, I told God, listen, I don't want to do good. I want to be like the person that I used to be. That's what I was telling God. And God was like, D, you can't be that and then go to the next level. He said, you can't keep people out and then ask me for another level. He's like, you cannot talk to people and then ask me for greater. He was like, this is all part of your next level. This is all part of your greater. And so God was just telling me, he said, you can't get tired of doing good. And I want to encourage you guys to continue to do good. Don't get tired of doing good. Even if people mistreat you, even if people take advantage of you, you still got to do good, because God will still reward you. See, it doesn't matter how other people treat you. It's about how you respond to it. And you have to continue to do good, because that's where your harvest come from. How you do good. God is not going to look at you and say, hey, D, or hey, Tammy, hey, Tony, hey, Cynthia, hey, Latoya. You're going to you were justified in treating them the way that they treated you. You were justified in treating them bad or talking about them. And so I'm just going to excuse you for that. No, God is going to hold us accountable for what he's taught us according to this word, not according to how everybody else has treated us. So we got to do good anyway. So I just want to encourage you guys not to get tired of doing good. Y'all do right anyway, because you're going to reap a harvest. You're believing God for way too much to treat people how they've treated you. You're believing God for way too much to, go tit for tat for people. What I've learned, one thing from my pastor years ago, he said, no defense, no dialogue, no distractions. And that has blessed my life. So no defense. He said, D, you don't have to defend what other people think about you or what they say about you. He said, I will be your great defender, because when I raise you up in the presence of your enemy, he said that what I do in your life, how I'm going to bless you, that is all the defense that you will need. And so I want to share that with you today. Don't be so caught up with trying. Hey, what's up? Yeah, you could have texted me. Bye. So don't get so caught up at trying to defend your reputation. What I do for you is going to be defense enough. And I want you guys to remember that. Don't get so caught up with doing that, okay? Y'all got that, right? Don't get caught up in defending. The next thing is no dialogue. When people come to talk to you, especially about other people or things that are going on, no dialogue. Do not talk negative about that person or negative about the situation. My best friend and I, we broke up basically publicly, and she put some things on social media about me, and of course there were people that came back and they wanted to hear my side of the story, or they wanted dialogue regarding it. I did not give it, and I will not. People will never know my side of the story regarding anything that happens in my life, because no defense, no dialogue. Because what I do know is that sometimes people will misinterpret what you say or your meaning or your emotions, and they'll make it bigger than what it really is. So you'll never get dialogue from me. So some of you guys just need to learn to be quiet and stop communicating regarding certain issues. Okay. And then say no distractions. Do not get distracted by what you see or what's happening, what's going on in your life. When little things start to happen, and sometimes they can be big things, when they just start to happen, do not get distracted. Your main goal is to stay focused on what you were doing before the distraction came up. Because what I do know in life is that when defense and distractions comes up, it comes to throw you off your game. So you want to stay in place. You want to stay in position, right? So no defense, no dialogue, no distractions, okay? Yes, Rakita said, cut it off, watch your words. That's right. Just watch your words. When people start talking about folks who may have left my company, or people that, my assignment is up in their life, or we're no longer friends, listen, I change the conversation. I speak well of that person. You'll never hear me say anything negative about, I don't care how I feel. I can be broken. I can be so hurt about what happened, but you won't hear me say nothing about it, because I know that I have to guard my words, because I know that God is holding me accountable to that. And I'm telling you, some of you all need to adopt that type of attitude and stop trying to defend yourself. And what I realize is that every successful person, they have gone through something in the media, they've gone through something in the news, they have gone through something where people was not pleased with their action, their response. People have said something negative about them, but it didn't stop their success. This is what I'm trying to get you guys to understand, that people do not have the ability to stop your success. What God has destined for you, it is for you. But I do know that God has to prepare the table in the presence of your enemies a lot of times. And so you got to keep building. You have to keep working. You have to keep climbing, Nehemiah, in order to accomplish what God has for you. And so it said, Galatians 6:9 said, so let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we do not give up. So this is the thing that I want you guys to concentrate on. It said that at the right time, you will reap a harvest of blessings because you did did not respond, because you did not, you were not distracted, and because you did not defend yourself. There's a harvest of blessings. And I believe that the blessings of God are making us rich in this season, and it's overflowing in our life right now, because we did not go tit for tat on a lot of situations and circumstances where we could have. And so I believe that the harvest of blessing is coming because we did not give up. And I just want you guys to remain the course, stay in the course, stay on your assignment. Even though I know it may be hard sometimes to keep your head up. Sometimes I know it's hard to get out of the bed, but I want you guys to stay a course. Got it? The second scripture is Proverbs 14. Backsliders get what they deserve. Good people receive their reward. So you're going to receive your reward because you're a good person. So there's a reward for you because you did not handle your enemies the way that your enemies have been handling you. So God has a reward for you. 2 Corinthians 9 said, remember this, a farmer only plants only a few seeds will get a small crop, but the one who plants generously will get a generous crop. So that basically means that if we continue to sow good, then guess what? And if we sow it big time, it's going to return unto us big time and good measure. So keep doing the right thing. Okay. So I hope you guys were blessed by this. This is called Unoffendable, No Offense, None Taken. And it is a devotion. I pray that you guys were blessed by this. Thank you so much for sharing this out. And don't forget to catch the replay. Catch you next time. Bye.